Good morning, everyone, and happy Sunday. I had to look at what day it is. That's so funny. And I'm just looking to see I can go live on Instagram as well. Let me see. Here we go. Yes. We are live on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube.
We got fireworks.
And we got fireworks. And I met Ellen. I saw her social media and the work that you produce, videos and content, and I fell in love with it. And we met, I forget where I was in the world, but we met on the phone and then we started working together. And now we not only work together, but we actually really enjoy each other as well, which is like epic, isn't it? I, it's one of my deepest pleasures to actually enjoy the people that I work with, because I had jobs in the past where I hated going in there, and the people that I work with were not fun and open, and they didn't function from no judgment. And so today we're going to have a conversation about being parents of neurodivergent kids. My words this morning. And we are going to particularly talk in the use of the access consciousness tools and under what we affectionately in access called Xmen. And Xmen is, I'm going to say, like, it's an endearing phrase that we use for people that are different, because we have so much joy and celebration of their difference instead of trying to get them to fit into a mold that around a square peg in a round hole, and so we affectionately call people with neurodivergence all the spectrum of it: ADD, OCD, dyspraxia, dyslexia, autism. And so that's what we're going to talk about today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me back again, Rachel. We did a live like a few weeks ago and I was really struggling to get my words out, and I wonder how many people can relate
Well,
to that, whether we're on a live or like in life. And
what about if we started there?
Yeah.
One thing that I know, that if someone mentions something on a live, that instead of avoiding it, so with Xmen, we are aware of past, present, and future. And so we will pick up, when we do a live, we'll pick up everybody's thoughts, ideas, beliefs, emotions, energetic vibrations. And because nobody has acknowledged this, so I became extremely frustrated because nobody would acknowledge what I was aware of before I came to the Xmen classes. And so instead of then, making Ellen wrong and being like, she couldn't speak or blah, 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 blah. What if you started to, so let's say if this was with a child, instead of reprimanding the child or making them like feel small or compressed, what if you could be like, well, what are you aware of when you go on to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and then being an allowance that if the person doesn't want to go on there, they don't have to. And so this is one of the huge things for me. And sometimes there's so many things going through my head that the movement of all the things that I'm aware of here to my mouth can sometimes, it requires massive presence with my body, Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so if you're watching this, you can put your hand on your body, because this is where you are right now, even though your awareness is shooting past, present, and future. We call it spherically aware of everything that has ever occurred in every molecule in the universe, and just be like, can I be present with this information? That's even allowing me to, I'm going to say, like, decompress, Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much.
And so one of the things that we're shooting for is no judgment, because whenever you're exposed to judgment, you actually start to compress, and then you start to fit into the vibration of the people around you, which occurs for our kids as well. Yeah. So what's it like having two beauties that are like, your kids are so different. Like they're
Oh, I adore them. I totally adore them. And, just like, I just love that I can use these tools with them, that I have these awarenesses with them. Like Flo, my eldest, she just doesn't miss a thing. And
yeah.
so
So with Flo, she actually would hear a needle in a haystack in a different universe. True?
yeah.
She picks up on everything. Like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, she's awesome. And I just acknowledging like how much of her communication is just like picking things out of my head,
Yeah.
and that's just like a constant thing that they do.
So,
And
so this,
she's like she was homeschooled up until recently, and she'd just say to me, "Mummy, the neighbours," because they can be quite noisy in the house, and she'd be like, "Oh, the neighbour's quite is really annoyed with me and just wants me to go to school."
yeah,
They've not told her that, but she's totally like just picked that out of their
we were
world.
on a meeting, and there was you and Troy and me and Flo, because she joins our meetings, whenever we come on. And she's like, "Oh, the neighbor is really annoyed with me." And so she can actually, so this is one of the things for me that was quite challenging as a child, because nobody acknowledged or asked me, what am I aware of, And I know that when you're a lot of space, Xmen will tell you everything that they're aware of. And so she's like, "Hey, mommy, the neighbor is annoyed because I'm, noisy today." And then I said, "Is she? How cool that you know that, you know? And what if you didn't have to compress into her vibration of judgment, because immediately what I would do as a kid is, they were like, "You're too noisy," because I had so much energy. My mother used to say, "You make me dizzy, you move too fast," And so immediately what I would do is, I decided that I had to like vibrationally be the same vibration as others. And then like all this wonderful playful energy that she has, goes into this judgment of, she's too noisy. And for me, it's so beautiful that she can come in and say what she knows, and it can be actually, Ellen, received by you.
Yeah, totally, totally. I like would be like in the car and I'm like suddenly like my mood switches and she'd be like, what mummy? What mummy?" She'll just pick up that I'm suddenly like picked up on worry, she's like, "What is that, mummy?"
So, and
Ooh.
this is then what occurs is, she's highly aware of energetics. She is receiving energetics. And so many times that people will dismiss that, because it's like, how can she know? She's only a kid. No, she is an infinite being. This is one of the big concepts of access consciousness. She's an infinite being that chose a body. And while she's a little girl in a body, she has this amazing ability to pick up on the energies of the world around her. And for me, even hearing you, when she says, "What is that, mommy?" and you respond, "Oh, I'm like a little bit stressed about something, and thank you for asking." And I wonder now what I can choose, or like, let's get out of the car. I know you do this a lot with them. Let's get out of the car and walk through the field. And this is the part that I think that's so misunderstood about Xmen. She's actually looking to contribute to you.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And this is the part where it's like, what do you mean that my child is looking to gift and contribute to me? This child is actually a mutation of the species, which is a gift of the universe with all universal energies. And she's aware of the level of programming that we've been through, and the level of compression, like continuous compression, I would say, since I was a kid. How about you, Ellen?
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Totally. Totally.
Compressing.
Mm,
Now
totally.
And now she's looking to gift her mom these playful, joyful energies. And how
Yeah.
many people, based on their fixed point of view or the rightness or judgment that we've been entrained into, like,
Yeah.
receive that caring and that gift and that contribution? That's one thing about Xmen. It's such a gift for them to be received, And
Mhm.
And it's such a gift for them not to be made wrong. And, because, we make ourselves wrong for being different anyways, Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I remember
Oh,
my son wasn't homeschooled, and I remember he going to school in the little school in Glanmire in Cork in Ireland, and there was a big happy smiley face in the schoolyard, and he hated school. He absolutely hated it. And he would stand outside, and I wasn't in a place financially to stay at home. And actually, I was the one that was bringing in the most money at the time. And so he would say, "That's not the way it is in there." He's like 4.5 years of age. He's like, most of them don't want to be in there. And yeah, yeah. And it was true. And I knew it was true. And so he would say these things, and I looking back, it really did blow me away, and it challenged me and disrupted my programming at the same time. You know what I mean? Just go to school, be a good girl, because I was very good at like fitting into people's points of views, and I became very good at like fulfilling other people's programs of me, of the projections and expectations, which we'll talk about next week. I have a 2-day, let's tell people this. I have a 2-day Xmen class next week, which is called Disabilities Are Abilities. And so one of the things that we look at is resurrecting and resuscitating the capacities that we shut off due to us deciding that we had to fit into the vibration that everybody else functions from, and that being us, it's not a great thing, that it's not a gift, that we should just fit in. And when you tell someone to fit in, it does two things, Ellen. It tells them that who they are is not what they're meant to be. And it begins to start a pattern of self-judgment, which creates massive compression in their bodies, you know. And that's really what the Xmen classes are about, is about deconstructing the places that you're judging yourself, and then opening up to the energies of the difference of you and the capacities beyond the judgment. And most people, for whatever reason, justification, they just don't want to be different. And that's a conversation for another day. And I guess part of them not being wanting to be different is they've been made wrong for being different their whole life. And that's the beauty of you with Flo and me with Dara, is like, I knew, what she's saying is true, and that she's energetically aware, and she is capable of telepathic communication, very much so, and as I knew with Dara, when that big smiley face was painted outside the school, that teachers were angry in the morning and they didn't want to be there, and they were tired, or whatever they had going on in their lives, no right, no wrong, no good, no bad, but they didn't have that energy of joy and relaxation either, And I really wonder, like, what would change in our world if that playful energy that Flo has, that if we actually allowed that reality of not being compressed, not judging, if we received from Xmen's reality, what it would change in your world,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and it's just like amazing to have this reminder. Like only yesterday, the kids have this thing of like whenever the doorbell rings, they just like bomb it to the door, and they're just like open it. And they're like in their pants, or just like, guys, can you just not open the door? Can I just open the door? And it happened yesterday, and she was like, it's so and so, and I'm like, how did she know? But she just knows who it is at the door every time. And then I was like ready to like kind of get annoyed, and I was like, oh, she knows it's fine. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure like when someone that we don't want to open the door to knocks, then they won't open it.
And I would say too that requires education and information, because are so different, and there's so much caring and kindness. And so the education in, hey, I'm asking you to not always open the door, to be aware of like who's on the other side. And as you said, she will know, but she already did know who was on the other side,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Just
say,
asking those questions. Yeah.
yeah, and she and also educating on her that there are many energies in the world, that there are people that don't function from kindness. There are mean people out there, and there are people out there that are kind also. But there's all energies in the world, and allowing her to know that, yeah, it's. I would say the Xmen tools, particularly the disabilities or abilities. I'm at the other end of you, Ellen. My kids are 32, 27, and 26. It's like sometimes I'm like, how did this happen? And my son, who hated school, everyone was like, what are we going to do with Dara? What are we going to do with Dara? And he's now off working in Toronto, creating amazing training schedules. He's a football coach. We call it football, they call it soccer. And he trains teams, and he's building leagues, and he just adores his job, and he has created his future. So if you're out there too and I'm going to say, like, you're concerned about your kids' future because they're not fitting into the structure, there are so many different futures that can be created. And these kids know this. They know that they don't have to do compression and judgment. And if you support them and you support them to know they're capable of choosing and creating, I would say the big thing is educating them on the creation of their living. When they choose something, did that choice work for you? And not putting them down. Me too. Me too. Me too. Hey, you chose this. What did that create? Oh, that didn't create what you wanted to create. Okay, you've learned something. What's next? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. and it's just, number one, it's a beautiful way to live, and number two, it's a lot easier on your bodies rather than fighting and struggling and refusing to receive from yourself if you're an Xmen and your kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I go, "Ah!" So it's just a joy to facilitate this class. It's next Saturday and Sunday. We're 7 minutes from Guildford is where we're having the class, and it's online too. We've people from all over the world, from Kuwait, and so if you know it's time to have the information and the education about the abilities, everywhere where someone is told this is a disability, it's the ability that we're educating on. And we cover topics like nervous breakdowns, because Xmen have never been acknowledged. We cover topics like autism, OCD. What else, Ellen? There's so much in the book. Exam stress. There's so much in the book, and we invite you to come along with us. And yeah, anything else I should add, or anything else would you like?
That's so beautiful. I can't wait. I actually cannot wait.
It's a beautiful way to live. And what if you could be the one who supports you and has your own back and showing you to be different? I'm very different, and I'd say I only recognize that. I only recognize that when I stopped trying to fit in. I tried to make myself normal, average, and real for years. And now when I stop concluding that other people are like me, and I start listening to their point of view about the way that they do business or do money or do relationship or do parenting, I start to recognize that I have very different ways of creating. And we all have these special abilities. And Shannon O'Hara, the creator of Top 10, she said something. She said, when you have these special abilities, what is your special need? What support, what contribution do you require to allow you to enhance these abilities? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love that.
Me too. I will see you next Saturday. I'm very much looking forward to it. And if you want to join us, we'll put the link in here. And again, the book, if you want to start your journey by reading the book, it's on audio as well, because I know I didn't read until the Access books, which is quite weird. I don't know if you know that, Ellen. I didn't read books until the Access books, and then I read them back to front. It's quite, yeah, it's hilarious. But there's also audio versions, Audible, that you can listen to. So that's it. Have a beautiful Sunday wherever you are, and I wish you a relaxing, an expansive Sunday where you don't have to be compressed and contracted into judgment, and you know that you have a different choice.
Beautiful.
Bye, everyone. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye, Ellen. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Rachel. Bye, everyone.
Bye.